Today on Life with Marian and Joe, we're going to begin our fall 2021 series, and we're going to be working on a mantle with a grape fantasy vineyard. Hey everyone, Joe here. How are you? Welcome back to our channel. And it is August 31st. It's the evening. It's about 9:15 in the evening, and I am finally going to start my fall decor. I know I've been leading up to it. I've been putting up a few videos about inspirational pieces and things from the past and so on. But today I'm actually going to start. And I'm starting here in what we call the formal living room. And today's video will be the mantle. Now, for those of you that know me, you kind of know what to expect from me. From those of you that don't know me, I don't kind of follow the traditional route on how I decorate. I actually decorate kind of more with a vision in my head, and I try to make it look like a scene from a memory, or a scene from the past, or a scene from some painting or picture that you've seen. So when I do something, I kind of look at it more in an artistic light, like as if it was going to be a still life or a painting. So it may be something you like, it may be something you might not like, but in any case, that's the way I decorate. In this room, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a theme of kind of like a winery in the autumn. So I'm going to be using a lot of grapes in here and a lot of purples and so on, because the couches in this room are kind of like a sage kind of a green, and the purple looks absolutely amazing with it. And I've never done a winery kind of a look as best as I can from what I have, because I don't go out and buy a lot of stuff either. And for those of you that know me, you may see a lot of the stuff that I've used in the past, and it's just going to be used in a different way, and that's what I'm all about. Using stuff that I have, mixing it up, using it in different rooms and in different ways. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to get started. The first thing I have to do is get everything off that mantle. Okay, so here you go, a clean slate I'm starting with, and obviously, you see I took the mirror down, I took everything off except the lamp so I can see what I'm doing, and I dusted, obviously, and I'm going to do something to the mirror. I'll show you what I'm going to do, because I'm planning to hang things on it, so hold on. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took these little nails. I think I don't know if they're called breads or not, but anyway, they're tiny little nails, and what I did was I hammered them into the back of the mirror, here and here, down the sides, a couple on the top, and down this other side. And what that'll do is that will actually allow me to use these as anchors for something I want to put around the mirror. And I'll just leave them there because you don't see them. And if I use this mirror at Christmas time, it'll be give me the opportunity to, hang things on there too. Okay, so I don't know if you guys experience the same problems that I do with 3M hooks lately, but they just do not hold anymore. I don't know if they changed the formula for the adhesive or whatever, but they kind of let loose. And that's the last thing that I want to happen, that I'm going to be doing a lot of work and everything's going to be on the floor when one day. So what I did was I took a board, I measured my mantle top here, and what I did was I cut a board to absolutely fit the top of this mantle. And then what I did was, if you can see, I sunk nails in it. There's a command strip anyway, but I sunk nails in here, and then what I'm going to do is I can actually just put this right here on top of my mantle, and I have a surface for me to actually attach. I can nail in here, I can attach things to it. I'm not going to think about it because it's not my real mantle. So if I need a nail in the back, I'll put a nail in the back. If I need more nails in the front, I put more. You understand? So this is a good alternative to ruining your mantle with nails and stuff, or using inferior 3M hooks that are going to drop everything on the floor. So that's a little tip for you. Okay, so if you know me, you know these lights, and we found these a while back, I think in BJ's Wholesale Club or Costco, I can't remember. But Mary Ann found them, she really liked them, and she bought them, and I use these every year. And I was actually going to give them a vacation this year. I wasn't going to use them. And when I said it to Mary Ann, she put on a really sad face. So I'm going to use them because she really, really likes them. And, you know, whatever, it's only for a few weeks anyway, right? Because Christmas is around the corner. So, I mean, they're really, really beautiful. They have these light up, these grapes, and then they have these velvet leaves. They're really pretty. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be attaching these around that mirror. I'm going to do that off the camera because you don't want to see me do that. Okay, so far, here's where I'm at. I have put my grape lights up and I fluffed my leaves out to make it look as realistic in my winery fantasy, autumn fantasy that I can. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to embellish that with some grapevine and some hanging greenery as well. But before I do that, I'm actually going to put a Christmas garland across here. Yep, a Christmas garland, but you're not going to see it. I'm going to use it to attach my florals and grapes and whatnot too. All right, so you can see what I did. Well, I used this really skinny piece of garland. It's actually a Walmart, $2.98 piece of garland. Really not going to see it. I don't want it to be seen, but I want it to use so I can attach things to it. And the nails that I put in my piece of mantle that I put up on top here, I just took this and I wired it and I twist tied it onto there. So now I have a base for me to use for what I'm going to add on. The next layer, I put in 4 of these cascading types of green picks here. You got to make it layered in order to make it look like bigger than life. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like you have to make it bigger than it would normally be to make it look like it would actually be true, but still a fantasy look that I'm going for. Next, I added in just a subtle hint of grapevine to create more texture as well as mystery. All right, so the next thing I did was I intertwined another strand of these grape lights into that Christmas garland. So already you see that it's disappearing. So now before I add more here, I did this so now I can work behind it because I want to put the stuff that I'm actually going to put on the mantle in there. This way it is snug in there and then I can start, layering out on the front. Okay, next I have this beautiful vessel here, vase, and I'm putting it here in the center. But what am I going to put in it? That is the question. All right, so next I'm going to try to use these as well as these plates with the grape motif on it. So I'm going to see how this looks together up there if I can squeeze it in, and then I'll show you how that looks. All right, so I put those in, one on each side. This room is very symmetrical. It's a couch on each side. There's there's 2 tables on each side. There's 2 lamps on each side. So obviously this is going to be symmetrical. You could create something like this. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, and sometimes it looks better asymmetrical, but again, it is. I have a little bit of asymmetry going on, like with the greenery around these grapes, but basically everything else is set symmetrical. So I'm liking that. I think that combination of that rustic with, this grape, obviously it all goes together. All right, so next I have these candle holders here. They used to be a different color. They were kind of like beigey, and I painted them gold a couple of years back. I used them when I did that Tuscan fall Again, obviously I'm going to use these because I mean they're so beautiful and they're in a bin the whole year. So I think they'll look good up on that mantle as well. All right, so I got these in and I chose to use green candles in them, and I needed to elevate that center piece a little bit more once those candles went in. It didn't look balanced out right. All right, so let me quickly address this. I'm going to do something with this. I'm going to put these in next. They have looks like the grapes are just growing, so I'm going to just try to fill in a little bit here without it becoming too ridiculous. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I took some of those dollar store, Dollar Tree pumpkins, you know, the orange ones. I painted some of them this purpley grape color. And then I painted some of them this green color. And then I painted some of them this kind of like off-white color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group them here. Now, obviously, you know, they don't want to stay where you want them to stay. See how that one fell? So what I do is I take a toothpick, and what I do is I figure out where I want it, which is right there. So I'm going to stick a toothpick in here like this, all right? And then I'm going to take this other pumpkin, and I'm going to get the angle that I want it at, and I'm going to put it in like that, and you see, they'll stay together like that. So that's, you know, and then you can put a little piece of moss in there if you see a little bit of the toothpick. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to arrange them on here like that, and then I'll show you the next layer that I'm going to do. Layer, layer, layer. All right, so this one on the end, what I had to do was I had to take a floral wire and I put it into the pumpkin, and then I wired it to the garland. See, that's why that garland is good. And then these two right here, I used the toothpick in. And then these two, I used the toothpick. And then this one again, I wired in using the floral wire. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add grapes to this now. All right, so I added in some grapes. I put some hanging on the end here. You can see this is a little bit different shade in here and so on right here. And I kind of, you know, I mimicked what I did on both sides. So next I'm going to add some florals in here to brighten this up. Okay, so I got a phone call and couldn't get off the phone and I kept on working. So let me just show you what I did a close-up. So you can see what I did was I added in some of these grape colored flowers, and I got those in the Dollar Tree as well as these off-white flowers just to, you know, bring in some brightness. Obviously the grapes I added in, and grapevine, which is really not grapevine. I think somebody said it's wisteria vine, but whatever, we all call it grapevine. And then I also added in some of these leaves that you can see here, and so on. So this is coming across the entire thing. And I'll back up so you can see. It's just that the rest of the room is a really big mess. Down here, what I did was, in the firebox, I used this, I had a little stand, and I had this, what can I think of anything? That pot there with the grapes on it. So I put that there, and I added in another one of those light sets with the grapes, although I didn't plug it in, but it still brings the grapes in. I added in some greenery, even a plant here, that wandering plant that has some purple in it, and then the green, the white, and the purple pumpkin. And then on each side, I had a couple of these decorative wine bottles, burgundies, and whatnot, and some grape leaves on the bottom, as well as some wood. So that is what the firebox looks like. So let me back up a little bit. All right, I have the two topiaries on each side, and I'm just going to put grapevine on them, but I ran out of it. So I have to go to Michael's. I'm going to get some of that, and that will be the only thing that I'm buying for here. And then you can see up into the top of the mantle. So like I said, this isn't for everybody. I try to do a little bit kind of like I told you, kind of like a fantasy based image, or something that you would think you saw in a picture, or someplace, an image of it, and something that sparks a memory. So not your typical fall colors, not your typical fall thing, but it is fall. Grapes are harvested in the fall, as well as the pumpkins. I used rustic elements such as the wicker and the overabundance of things being overgrown. As we're looking outside at our own houses right now, we see a lot of our plants are overgrown and coming to the end of the season, sorrowfully. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of my fall fantasy decor for 2021. Okay, everybody, I'll be seeing you soon. Take care. Don't forget, drop me a comment, subscribe. It's free, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.